Hey everybody, Chris here from T3 Handicapping. Going to be going over the card for Indiana Grand on Thursday, September 2nd. So if you want to follow any of these picks, they'll be updated after scratches as I do every day. You can follow me on Twitter at handicappingT3. You can also read my bi-weekly articles on betting news. This weekend, hopefully by Friday, I should have the article up for Saratoga this weekend using a lot of the same methodology. So if you like what we've been doing so far, you can always follow there. And you can go ahead and follow me on Twitter as well. And you can also reach out to me there with any questions you may have about how I'm arriving at these different horses. So before we get into Thursday's card, let's take a look at Wednesday. It was a pretty good day for me. Felt really good about how we did. So, if you just look at the AI picks here, these are computer generated. They kind of combine the grids that I use for the T3s, but then it also looks at some negative handicapping factors and kind of upgrades and downgrades horses accordingly. So, I did take the quarters off completely, but as you can see, a really good run late. In the card, hit a couple pick threes in there. The pick five, which we had on all A's and 1B, that ended up paying close to $500 on 50 cents with, as you can see, pretty small tickets. So yesterday was definitely a good day after a couple rough ones. It was good to get back on track a little bit with things. We did have some baby races earlier in the card, but actually I did okay on those. So was not as unpredictable as I thought. Here you can see the breakdown if you just use the grids. Now, typically I will use the grids mostly for the purposes of my horizontal plays or my vertical plays, I should say, and then occasionally I'll use some of it with horizontal as well. So in this case, you can see we had a T3 horse finish second, a T3 horse finish second, a T3 horse finish off the board, T3 winner, T3 winner. Down here, we did not have a T3 horse. We did not have a T3 horse here. And then we kind of had a T3 horse here that took second. So again, a lot of times I don't use it as a T3 horse if it has a ton of numbers in this, but again, you can see we had a couple winners in the middle of the card. This one, I believe, the 8 horse in the 5th race paid $18 to win, right around there. So good success yesterday, both in the win show ladders or win play show ladders, as well as the horizontals. I had the 7 keyed and I had the 8 keyed by virtue of being T3 horses. And then I played them into this 1-6-7 and won the 7-1. That paid out 39 or something on 50 cents. So a really good payout there and a nice chance to get myself back on track. So things are looking up after yesterday. We're going to hopefully continue to cash on that here as we move forward. So let's go ahead and let's jump into the card here on September 2nd and see what we have in store. I'm going to get my pen out once again, as I always do here. Perfect. All right. So we're going to start once again. We're on September 2nd here, Thursday. We've got another Philly State Bred maiden special weight early on. And I have this one horse as being pretty strong. I've got speed, stamina, class. That's a T3. Jockey trainer, flow, form, pace, and rating. Now, if you followed my picks yesterday, if you watched the video, you noticed that I had an issue with one of my pace runners who was a first-time starter. I found out that there was a little technical glitch, so I was actually pulling the wrong box for that in that race. So everything should be cleared up now and should be moving forward. This horse, this number 1 horse, does have a T3 in 3 separate places, and sometimes I will even mark that as a T3-3, just so that I know. The trainer is 0 for 2. Which is not great, but 2 seconds, and you can see the trainer is 17% on the year. So with all of that, this horse seems like a definite must use. I don't really have anything here. Looks like if we just follow kind of this trend that they've been putting up, we should be going backwards. 0 for 5. Haven't hit the board yet. That's problematic. Second time starter here, 0 for 4 in the second career race. That's not real great. I'll move on. Smooth Justice. Two times in the money in two races. A little bit of a regression, but as I mentioned yesterday, I usually look for a little bit bigger regression than that. What's interesting is that this horse went from maiden special weight down into maiden claimers and now comes back up. I'm not sure exactly what to make of that. I'm not sure why that would why you'd want to go that route, but because the horse has never finished out of the money, it's going to get the record spot. I'll probably use, but defensively, a second time starter, only a 7% trainer, and they're taking a step up in class, which is not good, at least not with that trainer's numbers. This horse here, 3 for 7 lifetime. Nice little steady progression here, and did start to get closer, right? So now we're starting to maybe a light bulb clicked on here in August. That seems reasonable. Now it's a 4-year-old, so probably is reaching the top of its development already. But this 54, the 54 could be dangerous against these horses. Now, the one still seems like the best player, but I think I would definitely keep this one just kind of on board just in case. Sorry, not this one. This one here, the 6 horse. The 7 horse, Dreamer's Dream. We look like we maybe have maxed out here. And we really haven't even sniffed getting close. So I'm not really going to use anything here with the 7. And that concludes the race. So to me, the 1 is the obvious player we're going to use very strongly. The 4 is also going to be a play. And if I'm going to go further down the list, I'm going to take the 6. Now I'm noticing that the 6, even though it's at 10-1, is the third choice. So that's something to be aware of, is that there's probably not a lot of value in getting that horse. Let me just take a quick look here at my strikes to make sure that I'm happy with where this horse grades out. I would assume it'll grade out just fine. A, B, yeah. So to me, that looks fine. I'm going to take that. I'm probably, when I actually go to play this, I'm probably just going to be all in on the 1. Just because there's not any value in taking the second and third choice. If I could make a case for somebody much further out, I could justify that value, but I don't think I can do so with the second and third choices in this spot. So let's go back to our board. Let's come to race number 2. All right, we got a mile on the turf. We were good yesterday. We should be able to stay on. It's going to be a sunny day again, so they should be good. The number 1 here at 9-5 is the record horse. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little concerned with Bryson here being only 4%. That just doesn't strike me as somebody who's riding confidently, and with some of the way the track's been playing, I'm not always sure that I trust that entirely. We are looking at a 78 there, though, on turf, which is solid. Go Yao Woman. We're going to go with the stamina rating here. Also the class horse, form, and rating. I mean, to me, this one's a definite user. The 3 has the best speed with that 81. But that's the only marking it has. Seems like one you definitely do want to use. The 4, Air Turbulence, I feel like was scheduled to go or did go in a different race. Can't remember if they scratched out or not, but I recognize the name. August 24th, so they ran not that long ago, but I think they were entered somewhere in between there too. Sunday Scheming. Speed figures are competitive, but I don't look at that as much, especially not on the turf. So I'm going to go ahead and just cross that guy out. And then the 6 I'm going to cross out as well. So looks like we're going with inside runners here on this first one. I was using the 1, 2, 3, and 4, so I'll just make my little initial marking there, which is that I'm using horses 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I come over to my strike report, and I can see that the 2 and 4 are the ones that I want most heavily on my tickets, then the 1, and then the 3 technically has a strike against and or has strikes against, so actually got knocked down a little bit. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to go with the 3 in the top spot. Sorry, let me fix that. I'm actually going to go with the 2 and 4 in the top spot. And I like the 4 at 8 to 1. So I'm gonna normally I would put the 2 on top and then just take the 4 down to the next level, because I do think the 2 has a better chance of winning. But I like that I'm getting the 4 at 8 to 1, so I can justify it because of the price. I'll put the 1 in the B spot. That's Moonlight Dancing at 9 to 5, and then Dixie Road. Being 7 to 2, the price is a little short, so I'm going to actually move that horse down. It doesn't show up on my letter grades over here, and then I've got a horse that's at a short price, so I'll put on a saver ticket, but I don't need to have that one heavily used here. Moving on to race number 3, we've got 5.5 furlongs for allowance runners, non-winners of 3 in life. When we come over here, we've got a lot of horses that are kind of all in the same place. Um, the way that these horses kind of rated out, they obviously all sort of landed in the same ballpark. So I know here it says moves up in class. Brisnet obviously uses class rankings, so do I. And this one, it just so happened to come out that these horses ended up in the same kind of area, and some of that has to do with the fact that this race, although easier, comes up a little bit saltier in terms of class because of the victory. So that's why you're seeing so many class things, even though you might be looking at it and saying, well, wait a minute, though, this horse is moving up in class, whereas this one's staying the same. That's why you're seeing that. So as I come in here, there is a class designation on the 1. We are hammered down here, though. We're moving speed figures in the wrong direction, which I typically do not like to see. 20 to 1 on that horse. 4 to 1 here, and you've got a bunch of things. So this horse does have class coming off that big win. It does have to step up, which could be a challenge, but jockey trainer, and then also has the best rating. In this case, we are looking at the breeding rating, I would assume here. Let's see, distance 99. Yeah, I'll have to look into why that rating is coming up there. This is the 3rd race. All right. So this I'm not so sure about because he is the 4th rated prime power, which is normally what they would look at in this spot. So I'll have to take a look. Shindana, the number 3 horse. This horse technically has a T3 because of the class. So I'm going to make a note of that. Speed figure solid. I mean, that 77 looks really nice here. The 4 every other 1 is going to be class, record, flow, and pace. Okay. Number 5 is record. And that's all. Number 6 is class. Number 7 is class, flow, form, and pace. Okay. So we've got a number of things going for the 7 horse in this situation. So when all is said and done, I'm looking primarily at the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, and the 7. Now, I know that the 1 and the 6 are also used in here, but I don't have them as primary consideration. So I'm going to come over here, take a look. Let's see, 3, 4, and 7 I have as being A's. And since I do have a semi T3 on the 7, I'm not going to actually utilize fully the 7 or the 3 as a runner here. I just want to take a look up here. Okay. So I've got the 3, 4, 7, and then I would take the 2, 6 next. And then the 5, it says to bring in as a seahorse. So that's kind of where I'm at. We'll have to see how things go with the stakes dropper there. Race number 4. We're coming in here. We've got a mile turf, Philly State Bred Allowance, non-winners of 3 lifetime. Scroll on over here to the 4th race. And as we're getting into this, we've got Southern Smile, but I don't have Southern Smile as coming up on anything. So I actually have this as a potentially bad favorite. And this is going to be one I'm going to look to beat. Number 2, Naughty Justice. We've got Jockey Trainer. We've got Record. And we have Pace. Number 3, Taparina. Just the form number here. Number 4, Stamina, Class, up there in Flow as well. Number 5, Nowhere. Number 6, Speed Ratings. Also Flow. And we can see the best prime power rating as well. Okay. And then number 7 isn't anywhere to be found. So in this case, I'm coming up with 4 horses. I got 2, 3, 4, and 6. And if I come over here and look at how those horses rate out on their strikes, to me, the 2 is the top player, as is the 6, which I like. We saw the 2 had a number of things coming here, and then you have the 6 who has that speed, flow, and rating. And with that, I think I'm actually going to, even though they're both rated as A's, I think I would give a slight preference to the 6, but I will use both of them equally. The 2 is coming in at 4-1. So and actually I'm not using the favorite. So without the favorite, I have a little bit more flexibility then to use horses over top. And then I'll put 3, 4 in sort of that second spot. But I'm going to be pretty heavily through the 2, 6 here and hope that the 1 just does not fire. In looking at the 1, I'm just trying to see here why we're even considering. I mean, to me, this is an odd favorite because you've got the 61 is a yielding turf course. I know it's in a stakes race, and the horse was only 4 lengths back, but a 61 that's a step down from its longer dirt races. So to come over to this spot, I don't quite understand. Now the 61 will make it competitive if you're looking at speed figures, but not enough to get the job done. Now maybe they're projecting second time improvement, a little bit of class relief. I don't know, but I'm not gonna. I'm going to play against that. I think that's one that I can beat fairly easily, hopefully. Here we've got 6 furlongs, Philly State Bred Claiming, 5,000 non-2 lifetime. We don't have a maiden special weight as our 5th race today, which is kind of a nice change. I don't have anything on the last fling. Interesting at 5-2. One of the things you will notice a lot at Indiana Grand is that the morning line can change pretty dramatically. So sometimes I see really bad favorites, I think, on paper. And then the rest of the betting public also sees that bad favorite on paper. And then it gets corrected in the market. So, it's not to the same level of, say, David Aragona in New York, where the morning line is usually pretty accurate. When you find a bad favorite pre scratch, you'll usually have that favorite or somewhere near favoritism come post time. But you can see big swings at Indy as information comes in and as the betting public's money comes in. So 3, I don't have anything on. Number 4 has the best of speed, the best of flow, and the best of pace. Number 5 has the best rating. Number 6 has nothing. And number 7 has Jockey Trainer and Record. So one of the things that you're noticing is that I don't have I don't have as many T3s today as I did yesterday. Yesterday I was just littered with them. Today they're more sporadic, so maybe fewer plays throughout today's card. So I got 2, 4, 5, and 7. I'm going to come over here, take a look at my strikes, and see how we're looking with these guys. The 4 grades out the highest. Speed, flow, pace, favorite. All right, so I'll take the 4 on top, and then I'm going to go with 2, 5, and then I'll drop the 7 in underneath. All right. So again, I'm not using the 5 to 2. I'm using the 7 to 2 deeper down. I've got a 15 to 1 shot and a 6 to 1 shot in my sort of second tier. So hopefully we can catch a little bit of a price there. Here comes our mid race maiden special weight. I knew it wouldn't be long. We're going to be on turf 7.5. One thing that I should mention for me is I count 7.5 furlongs when it's a 2-turn 7.5 furlongs. I will count that as a route race. So all numbers that are being used here are route numbers. So again, we have sort of a situation where you're going to do your best with what you have, but there is going to have to be some projection. So obviously, this horse is a use. I've got Brad Cox, who's just hitting at ridiculous percent, second-time starter. Has not raced in 48 days, but he's also 23% with that kind of layoff. So I'm not super worried about that. This horse comes in as speed, connections, record. That's it. The record issue you can see is just because no horses have actually won at this level or have even hit the board. So it's essentially putting in everybody that has just one start, one or two starts. The non-starters it does not factor in. So the record one is, in fact, I'm just going to cross it out because I don't really even use it at this point because nobody's hit the board. So everything's got to be projection from here. 2 could get best of race flow based on how they ran first time out. Number 3, the only one that we really have is this record, but I'm not using that. Number 4, I don't have that one. Little incremental improvement there, which is nice. Something to think about, but I'm not going to use that horse today, I don't believe. We're going to skip this guy. 7 to 2 on the 6. Okay, we've got another situation where a form horse is coming out as a first-time starter. I need to look into that. This guy has pace, speed, stamina, rating. You could maybe make the case it's a T3 horse. 65, going to be stepping up. Hopefully making that next progression. And then I don't think we're going to be off the turf, so I'm going to just move past him for now. We've got 1, 2, 6, 7, and 8. I already pretty much know in my head who I want to use as my top selection here. Taking a quick peek. Perfect. I was just verifying to make sure that the 7 came in as a top selection, which it does. So I'm going to make it 7, 1. I'll use the 8. Again, I don't really think that's going to be an issue because I don't think we're going to get off the turf. I'm going to go with 2. Now, the 4 is interesting because the 4 actually got an upgrade because it has 0 strikes against. So that's something I will look at and actually include as well. I'll throw the 6 in there. And then I'm just not going to use the 3. I can see that the 3 has a C letter grade here, but that has to do with the fact that it's in the record category. So I'm not gonna elevate in that situation there. All right, let's move on here. We've got race number 7, another maiden special weight. This time, we're still going on the turf, I guess. We're sprinting now, though. All right. So I've got the 1 horse has nothing. Downward trend since joining the new barn. Don't love to see that. First time starter, 20 to 1 usually means there's not much information. We've got a switch to a high percentage barn, but they're 0 for 3 first off the claiming from another high percentage outlet. They grabbed this horse out of a maiden claiming race and are now stepping up into maiden special weight, which is sort of interesting. I don't see that. I would be shocked if that horse comes in. Again, I don't like to see that this horse actually started with a better number than it finished with. We've got another downward trend on the 5. That's not good. So we're quickly eliminating horses here. The 6 has a record edge, flow edge. The 7 horse Cajun Kid, really nice start to the career going this distance. Was the favorite in that as well. The 7 horse is top rated in terms of the breeding. Number 8 actually was running in France, which is interesting. We've got stamina, class, and pace. Okay. Speed figures are well enough against this group. I don't love that we're over 15. That's concerning, but we are 7 out of those 15 races we've gotten in the money. So, I'm not sure if I'm going to use that horse on top, but I will most likely use that horse coming in. Now, this is another interesting one because technically this horse rates out as the speed and the connections horse. But I want to be very careful about that because this horse is almost inevitably going to scratch out, which is going to open this board up to somebody else. So that's a good reminder to follow me on Twitter. And then same thing here. You've got form and record. Now the 6 will maintain the record if the 11 scratches, but this form one could open up. So this race complexion will change once we have confirmation that we are on the turf, which we should be today. And you can see that is likely going to take me from 5 contenders down to just 3. So now we don't know exactly what that will look like. Right now I have the 10, 11 as my top selections, but I genuinely don't think they're going to get in. So I will use them collectively on top in sort of an A position. But then I also want to take my best horse here in terms of who I like. So I've got stamina, class, and pace. We've had a late running bias or a late running profile. So I think I'm going to actually take the 8 as my next, and then I'll kind of take that over the 6 and 7. All right, race number 8 here on the card, and I believe we are getting to our final thoroughbred race. Yeah, 9, we're going to be running quarters again. So we get here, I've got Thunderstruck. Thunderstruck is the best of speed. Nice little 78 there. Number 2, I have as the top rated horse. You can see that right up here, Prime Power. Number 3, no marks for. I'll pass. Second off claim, not good. Number 4, Blazing Fireflies. Little upward progression, but just doesn't seem to fit here on numbers. Stamina, class, and form. Now, this is an interesting one. So I've got this horse on stamina, class, and form based on my formulas. At 6 to 1, that's an interesting possibility there. The 6 horse, I just don't have anything on. The 7 horse is 1 for 1. We'll take a second time start, so you're hoping we'll take a jump there. Keeps Fernando de la Cruz, so obviously liked what he was riding when he took it to the maiden score. Don't have anything on this horse at 15 to 1, so I'm going to pass. Number 9, actually, interestingly enough, I think the race flow could set up in their favor. I don't love these 50 speed figures, but at the same time, at 30 to 1, you're getting compensated. And then number 10 here, Miss Sugarbaker. I have that as being the best connections with Esquivel and West. And so there is our final thoroughbred race. I've got the 1, 2, 5, 7, 9, and 10. And if we take a look at how we're doing over here, I think this is the race that we're in. Let me just verify that I'm correct. Yep, race number 8. So as I look, there's not really a ton of great options here. I'm going to take the inside outside runners as my tops, but I'm going to have a lot of coverage here. Let's see. After that, I've got the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 as maybe kind of my next tier. And then I've got a lot of strikes on both the 2 and the 9. So actually, I'm going to take the 2 and move it into that second group. I'm okay leaving the 9 down, but I want to put the 2 in that group. So I'm going to go 110, 5, 7, 2, and then 9. This is quarter, so we're not doing that. So as I'm going through and as I'm looking at my races for today, I'm looking to probably go keys. Boy, there really aren't a lot of T3 options. I might take a small play on wing spun here in this race, which would be number 6. I might take a strong stand with, I think it's this race where I have another T. Nope. Um, it's this race where I kind of have a T3. So you're looking at like race 6, race 3 with the number 3, Shandana. And then I feel like I had the 1 in race number 1. So I'll probably try and play a pick 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'll try and key on those 2 horses. I'll probably play one then. If I'm alive to the third race, I'll probably just leave it there. If I'm not, I might pick up another one in race 3 and go 3, 4, 5. And then I may pick one up to go 6, 7, 8 as well. If I get knocked out of that third race, I might try and play into the 6th race rather than kick off with the 6th race. But not quite as clear a card as yesterday. But at the same time, I think some good opportunities to make some money. So a lot of this board may change once scratches come out. So make sure you follow me on Twitter at Handicapping T3 so you can get that updated board with scratches. I will also be posting the Saratoga board for today. So good luck at Indiana Grand and all of your wagering endeavors today.